and welcome to my first out-of-the-box review. One of the great things about gaming today is the wide range of rules, terrain, and miniatures that are readily available. Unfortunately, there are so many manufacturers out there that it is all too easy for impressive products to go unnoticed. Antenocitis Workshop is a manufacturer based out of the United Kingdom that has been producing miniatures and terrain for a while now. Today, I would like to focus in on the governance of technology line, in particular, the Warthog Scout ASV, a 28mm scale, resin and white metal vehicle. Ever since I first discovered the Shadowrun RPG, I have been searching for a line of vehicles that would fit the genre and the scale of miniatures originally produced by Raw Partha, now Ironwind Metals. The governance of technology line fits my Shadowrun needs perfectly. In addition to Shadowrun, I believe that these vehicles would look very well with the Infinity wargame. This is an exciting new skirmish-level wargame produced by Corvus Belli, set approximately 175 years in the future. While at present there are no rules covering vehicles within Infinity, for table dressing, though, the Warthog would fit in perfectly, and I have no doubt at some point vehicle rules will be coming for Infinity. 15 years after its introduction, Stargrunt 2 is still a workhorse when it comes to sci-fi wargaming, and does have rules for generic vehicles. When I first ran across these pictures of the Warthog, I was struck by how straightforward and rugged it looked. Those two front bumper skids looked as if they were meant to push obstacles under the vehicle. Two remotely operated turrets that maneuver on guide rails ensure that the occupants are going to have a good field of fire on the opposition. There are no vulnerable windows here. Instead, all driving is based off sensor data relayed to the driver. Here, we see the Warthog next to the Bear 4x4, another vehicle produced by Antenocitis Workshop. The box comes with a resin body, 4 resin tires, 2 acrylic rods for the axles. The white metal parts are the bumper skids, 2 mud flaps, 2 gun turrets, an antenna, a mini light bar, and there's also a decal sheet. In the picture I have the resin body up on the tires in a dry fit sort of fashion. I just thought it would be prudent to mention that they are in fact separate pieces. Without the presence of windows, all of the situational awareness has to be delivered to the driver and gunner via sensor array. The remote turret guide rails extend across the top and down both sides. This sort of attention to detail really impresses me and shows that the designer actually thought about how this vehicle might be used if it actually existed. The twin turrets allow the gunner to engage targets in front of and behind the vehicle simultaneously. Smoke or chaff dispensers affords the vehicle a measure of protection in those instances where it finds itself outgunned and needs to make a strategic retreat. The doors do not actually move. If they did, though, they would slide forward much like a van's side door does. These doors can open up if the vehicle fits in the parking space. A small detail, but one that I wish my pickup had every so often. There are some minor deformations in my casting along the running board or fenders. Just a small amount of filing and a bit of green stuff sorted that all out. The wheel well void was a bit bigger. Even though my tire would conceal it, I decided to add a bit of green stuff to fill it in. The scale of the Warthog is very nice, as you can see in this picture. Miniatures on 25mm round bases will look right at home alongside a completed Warthog. The tires are beefy, have a good tread, and even some sidewall raised lettering. They do require a bit of cleanup with a file though, but nothing all that time consuming. The back of the tires don't have that much in the way of detail, but are concealed when assembled on the body. The decal sheet was a bit of a disappointment to me. I was only looking to use the hazard stripes, but they refused to stick, even with more than one application of the decal solvent. In the end, I went ahead with decals that I made up in Photoshop and printed out. Here is my completed Warthog. It is painted up in Knight Errant colors, a private security firm that provides police services to Seattle within the Shadowrun universe. I wanted the vehicle to have the look of being stationed out in the Seattle Barrens. As the name implies, this is a rougher part of town, so paint chipping, dirt, mud was liberally applied to the vehicle. You can see that my version of the Warthog rides a bit higher than the builds from Antenocitis Workshop. I had to build up axle jacks so the tires would not be up against the fenders. This gives it more of an off-road look to it, and I consider it to be pretty much essential to have it look more realistic. In the original incarnation, the mud flaps actually rested on the tires. I decided to go instead with an extended bumper to allow the mud flaps to hang straight down. With just an X-Acto blade, steel ruler, and a plastic for sale sign, I was able to create these without any trouble. I pinned these bumpers to the original bumper, and then the mud flap tabs to the new bumper. While I certainly like the look of the mini light bar included, I wanted a much more pronounced one so as to leave no doubt as to the vehicle's purpose. This one is simply a section of plastic sprue with a photoshopped decal on either side, with the rest of the area painted black and then pinned into place. Now, I ran into some problems with my own decals in that the micromark solvent and setting solution never really melted it into the model, evident here on the mud flaps. The other problem was that they simply failed to really pop visually. Using clear paper, I think that next time I will instead try the white paper. The mud splatters were achieved with my airbrush and a paintbrush loaded up with a solution of MIG pigments. I like the effect. However, next time around I plan on thinning this solution a great deal more. Originally, I had thinned it out to about 15:1. It kind of looks like I hit a troll holding a 5-gallon bucket of white paint. Dirt and mud was applied to the wheels and running boards, and I think that did turn out rather well. So, for my overall review of the Warthog, I will give it 4 out of 5 stars for style and form. The look of this vehicle just appeals to me, and will add a lot to any Shadowrun game that I use it in. Execution, 3 out of 5 stars. The decal sheet problem cost half a star, and the lack of instructions, either in the package or online, costed another half star. The Warthog is a very straightforward build, but I believe that manufacturers should get in the habit of providing instructions. The fact that I had to create axle jacks to raise the vehicle up so the tires wouldn't rest on the fenders costed a full star. Difficulty of build, 4 out of 5 stars. As I said, it is a very simple build and a lot of fun to do. Cleanup of minor voids and mold lines was easy, and conversion work was simple. Final rating, 3.7 stars out of 5. A good investment that will add to your gaming experience. Please feel free to leave comments below to let me know what you think. Until next time, play games and have fun.